just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on ICN Christ Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. Not only that, you can also find us on all the social media pages. Some folks have asked me if I'm putting these shows on Twitter, and yes, I am, most certainly. So I've been doing that for a long time anyway. Been bashed a little bit, but anyway, we're doing that. And Facebook Live, all the social media sites, MeWe, all of them. You can't run away from us. You've got us always. Coming up on Friday's show, just wanted to mention to you, I'll be in Bridgeport, Alabama. Teresa Walker and Mayor Bubba Hughes will be with me. There's a little growing trend going there in Bridgeport. It's a beautiful area. And the Google plan has just come in. A lot of sources are coming in. I just built a hospital. It's a small one, but then it's got to start going to it. So anyway, we'll be talking with them, and a very special segment Friday, and they'll be at 9 o'clock, and I'll be telling you about that in just a few minutes. Coming up at 2:30, we'll be talking with Alabama Governor candidate Dean Odle. Looking forward to talking with him. And then singer Melissa Evans will be with us at 2 p.m. And then right now we're going to be talking with one of my special folks right here. She's one of my favorite guest. Her name is Susie Stover, and she is a home designer with Ethan Allen. And you get a 2-for-1 with her, because we talk about how you can design a house using your personality, that kind of thing. And then we're going to leave you with some points to ponder, and that's how to stay positive in a weird, wacky world that we're in right now. Susie, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Donna. It's great to be back.
Absolutely. I always love talking with you. Some of we had some responses last time you were on the show, and this is from folks who were saying, so it's okay for me to design with the changing seasons, usually darker colors and throws that have a lot of fur on them in the wintertime. And then in springtime, and several of our listeners responded to the fact that you can change covers on cushions. And I think that's an idea. I think that's a great idea. A couple of ways I do it. I have zippers at the bottom of the cushions, or you can actually use, if you wanted to use snaps, you could use that. Do you have any other ideas, ways we can change the covers?
I think what you've said is exactly right. Snaps, zippers, sometimes tying, in the back and doing something like that. Throws are great because you can do lighter colors, and just spring colors, and bringing that into your environment just gives you a lightness. And as we were talking earlier, spring green is, flowers are just blooming everywhere, and it's beautiful. And bringing that into your home, as well as pots out on the deck or the porch or whatever, that just makes a really nice new feeling for the year. The cold is gone, and the warm is coming in, and it's great. It's lively, and it's just enjoyable to see it coming.
I love it. And it's just the neat thing about birth. It's just the birth of new colors and that kind of thing. I mean, it makes you feel better.
It does. It gives you a lightness in your step.
It does. I mean, it just makes you think of a birth of a new child.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I've done a few things that you had mentioned. Out on the deck, I have some of my herbs are out there growing now, rosemary, and it's really neat to walk by and just take one of the leaves off,
right,
or whatever, and just rub it with my hands, and it smells so good.
Yeah, using your pots outside to grow herbs, or even lettuce, and some things that you can pick a portion of, and it blooms all summer, and you can utilize it in salads and things. That's another fun thing that spring and summer gives us, is just a versatility of being able to do different things.
Absolutely. Chives. Once you cut some chives off and put them in your salad, almost the next day you can look and it's grown 2 inches.
Exactly. They keep growing. I know. Yeah. And there's some types of lettuce that don't grow as a head that you can just pick off the individual leaves, and they keep growing, and you can use those all summer long. It's great.
Yeah, good in salads. It's good for you and you're saving money. Phil laughs at me because early in the morning is when you want to really get your herbs and lettuces and kale and things like that. So when I come back in, I will say, well, I just got back from my store.
Oh, I like it. That's great.
Absolutely. What ideas do you have for somebody? And I think you already mentioned a few of those. And that was a question. And then this lady tells me that she works and gets in about 5 o'clock and leaves about 8 o'clock in the morning. What can she do with a garden or herbs?
Well, I'm in the same situation. I leave in the morning. I get back 5:36, sometimes much later. And just for me, having potted plants outside, and Jim's really good about watering them for me. But that's a fun thing because I like things that bloom all summer. And actually, I still have my winter pansies, and they are so colorful. I have not put in any spring flowers yet because the pansies are still holding on and they're reblooming. They've bloomed and had color all winter. They can freeze and just pop right back again, and it's really great. So in the summer, I like to use impatiens, sun patience, or New Guinea impatiens that are a little more hardy and they can handle a little more sun. And they bloom until November, until the first freeze, and they're really great. And of course, there's so many ferns and trailing flowers that you can put in pots. And if we do not have gardens around us because we live in a development where we pretty much have just our porch and a little bit of grass around the house, but it's mostly pots that I'm able to use. And it's just fun to see them in that bright color all summer long.
Well, I think that's a great idea. A lot of people live in town have vertical gardens on their decks, and I think that's an awesome idea. You can have some tomatoes that way, just have them grow vertical.
Yeah, my daughter has a balcony, a small balcony, and she's just got all of her herbs, and she grows tomatoes, and she's got pepper plants and other things that she's growing out there. And she is in an apartment, an upper level apartment, so she doesn't have any yard. So that's her little special place.
Well, I wouldn't recommend this if you live in a development or an apartment, but we just got bees, so we're going to be a beekeeper now.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And they're almost they're not tame or anything like that, but you can actually walk around them. But as long as you don't act defensive, they're fine. I've been gardening all around them. Phil cut the grass and just cut right up around the beehive, and but it's fun to watch them buzz around, and they'll get out and they'll start looking for food. Of course, we have plenty of flowers here; they can eat well.
Right. You've got a farm and a lot of area for that. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. I know I have a friend who lives in a development, and he said he has a friend who has a swimming pool. Friend just complains all the time and says, your bees are always coming out to my swimming pool. So if you have bees, he came up with an option there. He said he just bought a kiddie pool, and he put plenty of clean water. He cleans it out every day. So he puts clean water in the little kiddie pool, and now they're not as bad to go out to someone's swimming pool.
Oh, wow. And I guess they need a drink, don't they?
They drink a lot of water. We have a pond out there, so that's where they get the refreshments from.
That's great.
So let's talk about personalities and how your personality fits in. Like I mentioned to you earlier, my personality is much different from my mother's personality. Her place looks almost like a museum. She's a collectible, and she collects all these unique, and I'm a collector too, but she's big scale. I mean, I'm talking barely walk around in her house. And mine, I like at least trails that I can walk through.
Right.
So what is there a right and a wrong way?
Well, personality does play a lot into it. And there's different types of personality. You have your people that like your more clean lines and modern and contemporary, very little in the way of tchotchkes or accessories. People like myself who have a more tendency to the romantic look, and I like flowers, and I like vases, and I like things to bring life and color. So there's a real diversity. And when I'm doing a design for one of my clients, I really like to listen, hear what they're saying, see what their tastes are, and do a unique design for them, for their home. And I think really recognizing who you are, not trying to keep up with fads. We talked about that before, but recognizing what makes you happy when you walk into a room, and what appeals to you, what doesn't appeal to you, and then doing your whole design around that rather than what's in style in the magazines. I have had people that, oh, I like what's in the magazine, so they do their house like that, and then they're not happy with it because it's not really who they are. So really paying attention and recognizing who you are, what you like, what makes you happy. When you walk into a room, do you go, this is me? Or do you walk into your room and you say, ooh, I feel like I'm in a dentist office, or, a doctor's office, or something that's not me. So that's a critical thing for recognizing and being aware of who you are and what you like.
Since you're on that note, let me ask you about something else, because we bought this farm. Used to be my grandparents' farm. They bought it back in 1938. And throughout the years, this house has evolved. They built onto it. There was a carport. Now there's not one, just different things like that. But one great thing, I'm really glad they had the ceramic tiles put in the bathroom. And I'm just so thankful every day she did not choose hot pink or
yeah,
it used to be popular back in the day. So she chose a neutral color.
Yeah.
So when you're redoing a house, when you're renovating, should you think about, and I think you touched on that too, and that's about trends. You choose maybe a palette of just maybe, just I don't know, whites, blacks maybe, or what tone should you think about?
Neutrals are always safe. And if you have a base of neutrals, you can always bring in accessories, artwork, lamps, all kinds of things that can bring your personality into it. Of course, the style of furniture, or if you're, doing a bathroom, this style of hardware, your appliances, that will play into it too. And then if you do neutrals, I think that's a great way to start, rather than putting like pink or fuchsia or red or something, because that's going to limit you down the road, and you've invested a lot of money in something that's very limiting. So if you start with neutrals, and then you in a bathroom, for instance, you've got towels that you can dress it up. So many things you can do without your base being your predominant color.
Well, my grandmother chose beiges.
And that's perfect.
And it's perfect because now I can just put accessories, whatever color is
Exactly.
in style. Do that and most of the time I really don't pick colors in style. I just something that I like.
Right.
But also, should you also be thinking about, and I know someone mentioned this Tina sent a message, and let me look at it again. She said she has been told that to design your home is if you're thinking about selling it in the future. Now, what do you think she means by that?
I think that's a good idea. Because most people are not going to stay in their home forever, and your major big things like flooring and tiles and things like that, that's exactly what we're talking about, because those are the things that, and I think we touched on this the last time, if somebody comes into your home and you're trying to sell the home, if your personality is so predominant and pervasive in the home, they're going to see it as your home. And you really want to invite somebody, because resale, people don't stay in their homes forever for the most part. But seeing it, a prospective buyer coming in wants to see kind of a clean slate and what they can do with it and envision their taste. So if you're like me and a romantic and you have a lot of things that are very personal around, if you're trying to sell your home, I would just move those out and have a very simple, plain. You can still have your personality, but not overbearing with it.
Absolutely. You know, I was thinking when we were moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, Phil sent me up to Charlotte to look at the houses. He trusted my ideas on it. And so I told the realtor I wanted an older house because I just like the way they were built. I just,
yeah.
Now. But one of the houses I looked at, the countertops, and they were really, really nice countertops, but they were pink. And that would be an expensive endeavor. You moving the house is not the right color. It's something that was popular during that time. And they were granite. I mean, they were really nice granite countertops, but not pink.
And today, we're the popular color for a long time has been in the gray, the gray tones and the gray tones. And I think we're seeing an exit from that. I think we're seeing a lot more accent colors coming in, but more moving to the warm beiges and things that are going to be a little different in tone. Gray is still there, but I think it's moving more toward a grayish, which is a combination of gray and beige. And I'm seeing a lot of changes there. And, in Ethan Allen, we have over 1,000 fabrics. So I'm seeing a lot of color come back, a lot of patterns come back. It's been kind of tweeds and neutrals and more plain. And now we're seeing a comeback of paisleys and all kinds of different patterns that are just lively and just beautiful.
I love paisley colors. One of my friends in Charlotte was redoing her kitchen, and she has this huge collection of Coca-Cola products. And she said, I think I'll go red with the countertop. And I kind of made a look at her, and she said, why are you looking like that? And I said, well, you said you were going to sell this in a couple of years. And she wanted to, I'm talking Coca-Cola red.
Right. Yep.
The problem is you're going to get somebody like my grandmother may look at it and not choose to, because she goes with everything nice. I mean, I'm talking red granite if she could.
Yeah.
And I said, the only thing is going to be the resale, So she chose white.
Yeah. A neutral color is always the best because again, you can always put red canisters and red pot holders and all kinds of red fun things on top of the counter. And that you can take away when you're trying to sell your house and not have that, strong color. That would maybe not be somebody's color because not everybody's color would be red. I see a lot. I'm helping a friend that is redesigning her kitchen right now. And we've been looking at cabinet colors and granite colors. And we found some really pretty granite at one of the local area granite places. And just, staying with the more neutral. We've gone back and forth with bringing in a little color and the end this morning we had connected and just the neutral one is the one that won out. It has just a little bit of warmth and a little bit of gray, but it's really more neutral. And she's going to do all of her kitchen cabinets and that. We had thought about doing like a soft seafoam teal on the bottom cabinets but in the long run, the neutrals won out.
My cabinets, we painted them not white, but kind of a beigey white, but more white.
Right.
Beige in it. And
antique white.
That's it. Antique white. It almost has a little bit of beige. It also has I can see a little bit of gray in it too, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because you'll have a lot of companion color undertones. And that's nice. A flat color is one thing, but when you have a color that has either the wood grain where you see undertones to it, and I do this with fabrics. I was looking with a client yesterday at some fabrics, and we were picking out a pillow fabric to go with her blue. She has an indigo blue chenille sofa that she got from me, and she just loves it. We're picking out rugs and pillows, and found this really pretty fabric because she already has a pattern pillow. And so we were picking out a second neutral And we found one, but if you look at it, it's a solid, but when you look at it again, it's got a lot of different colors that make up that solid. And that's a fun thing to do, because then you can have a lot more versatility with something like that.
Now, your lighting in your house also plays into the color. Is that correct?
It does, definitely. Yeah, I always encourage my clients, let's take home the fabrics, try them in your home, because our incandescent light, even the natural light at the windows, is not going to be the same as it is in your home. And I encourage them, look at it in the morning, look at it in the afternoon and in the evening, and at nighttime when you have different lighting, so that you can see how it changes color. And I even do that with paints. You know, we as a designer can get 8.5 by 11 paint samples for clients, which beats the little cans of paint that you have to paint on your wall. So that is a really neat thing that we, you know, they can put up strips of color so they can see as the light is different, they can see how it works and how it changes the color. And sometimes they'll really love the color in the store and they get it home and it just dies, or it just doesn't do well in their home.
We just got a text from Jenny, and Jenny said her husband is a huge Alabama fan, and on their front porch he wanted to decorate and put Alabama logos and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm,
Of course, she's been arguing with him about this. She's an Alabama fan too, but she said, I say no to that. What do you say, Susie?
Well, that depends on your preference. That's a advertisement of what you like, but and it depends on what your home looks like too, because if your home is stone or wood, and is it going to clash, is it going to accentuate what you already have? You know, if I'd love to see it, you know, text a picture or email a picture, and that always helps too, to see what it actually is going to look like. That's a little bit strong, but it depends. Again, there you're bringing in that personality again. And, you know, what does that person like? Wow, I want to have it and I want to display it outside. You know, some people have a den or something where they keep that type of thing. But it's an individual thing.
Well, I've got an idea for you. I am an Auburn fan, and Phil is an Alabama fan. Why don't you go outside and have maybe a small garden? Where you call it, you know, his and hers or whatever, and have one side of the garden be like really pretty red colors for Alabama, and then have some oranges and maybe some Auburn. So, I mean, I thought about doing that. And
that's a good thing. Yeah, pots of flowers. Here we go with the pots of flowers again and doing something like that, or a garden. That'd be great. Yeah.
Absolutely. We are almost at the bottom of the hour. Susie Stover is with me, and she's a home designer with Ethan Allen. And but I would like to talk a little bit about the state of what we think right now. I know a lot of folks are depressed. You know, if you listen to the news all the time, it will be depressing. So let's talk about some areas of our life that we could maybe do and improve on what goes in our heads.
Well, yeah, for me, always the scriptures. You know, there's so many scriptures on encourage. You know, take courage, be encouraged, fear not. That's a main thing. We were talking about this earlier. It's a main part of our lives, is to not allow those things to get us down, to frighten us, because we have a strong God who is in our camp. I mean, he is our advocate, and we don't need, as we look at the things going on around us, we don't need to be afraid. We need to, and we talked also about prayer and intercessory praying, and all the more reason to be on our knees before God praying for these things, because sometimes you cannot just get out there and do something about it personally, but boy, you sure can pray, and prayer moves mountains.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask this question too, and this is in essence of one that was sent by Pam just a minute ago. So your mood, if you wake up with a mood and you want to design your home, Pam, thanks for that question. That's a good one. So if you wake up and you have this, you know, I'm depressed kind of because I've been listening to the news day and night, is that going to affect the way you design your home? I mean, you're going to come up with weird colors and stuff if you're in a bad mood, or if you're in a good mood, would it be a different design?
Well, I think your basic tastes are going to be the same. I think if you wake up and you're depressed and you're down, then light and color and things that are positive that bring you up out of it are really important.
Yeah.
I just think that, again, if you're in a bad mood, focusing on the positive and focusing on what the Word of God says, be encouraged, fear not, for I'm with you. Do not be dismayed, for I'm your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my victorious and righteous right hand. That's in Isaiah 41:10. And that is that's one of the ones I hang on to. It's like, fear not, don't be dismayed. God's with us. He's helping us. And that's something that is so important. It's hard. It's hard because bad things happen. And there's things that are happening in our country and the world that are just so disheartening. But we need to hang on to faith, to hope, and truth and trust.
But something, bad things have always happened. It's nothing new.
That's right.
And so we just kind of have to play with our frame of mind, I think. And there are little things we can do. And I think God gave us a color palette.
He did.
I love yellows.
I
mean, a yellow and just a yellow sunflower puts you in a super mood.
Yellow's a happy color. It is a happy color. And as I said earlier, recognize what makes you happy. So you just said you like yellow, and yellow's going to be a brightening color. It's going to bring you up. So if you're down, get some sunflowers or some daffodils and put a big bouquet of them on your table. For me, I like pinks and purples, and I'm a romantic, and I like to go to Sam's and get a beautiful big bouquet of flowers, and I keep cutting the stems so that they last 2 or 3 weeks. And but that I walk into my kitchen or my dining room and it just makes me happy. So doing little things that are going to make you feel better are real important.
Nikki has just sent a message too, and this is about prayer time. Nikki, I lost. Okay, here it is. Okay, so she said she chooses morning hours for prayer time instead of afternoon hours to begin her day. But she has friends who choose night and say that works for them.
Well, I try to get mine in the morning, because when I get about my day, I get too busy. And if I don't take the time early enough, then so many things are coming at me that I'm just distracted. And I have so much on my plate, as most people do these days, that I get distracted and I'm going this direction, that direction. Focusing and really just having a little quiet time is really good. And I have a lot of devotions. I get email devotions as well as some fabulous books that I, try to just focus, center myself on those things and start the day. And I'll tell you, when I do, and I put on worship music and I'm praise God and sing, and that just makes the whole day go better.
It most certainly does.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's not to diminish anybody who has a different time frame, because whatever time you spend in prayer with the Lord, that is a valuable thing. And it always will bring you up.
Well, I think some people too are morning people. I'm a morning person. I'm ready to get out of bed and get ready for the day. And some people are night people, and they can focus better at night. So really it just depends on your personality, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And that is true for a lot of people. I am not a morning person, but I make myself, because I have to get up and go to work. And if I haven't had a little time with the Lord or had my music going, I have a more difficult day, I find, for me personally. So I have to do that. I have to get that music going and start praising him and get on and know that it's going to be a good day.
Well, I think too, starting off the day with good music instead of starting off the day with bad news.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
With bad news, I'm going to be grumpy the rest of the day.
That's it. That is it. Yeah.
And I'm in business. I've got to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But if you look in the wartime in the Bible, they always sent out the worshipers first before the soldiers. So worship is it can be warfare too. And in this time and age, we need to worship. We need to praise. We need to have that music going and just make a better day out of it.
Well, the enemy also is always there to try to trip us up. I mean,
Yes.
it's evident. So I think just starting off the day with music and not the bad news would be one step. But sometimes just getting outside and breathing some fresh air can help.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, especially with this beautiful sunshine. I got up and I looked outside and I thought, praise God, it's just a beautiful day. Just that in itself makes you feel good.
Absolutely. Also, what we put in our minds. I know you talked about devotional. What are some of your favorite websites you like to search for devotionals? Because you got to be careful there too to get the right.
Well, there's so many. I like David Jeremiah is very good. I listen to him. I'm trying to Dr. Don Wilton out of First Baptist Spartanburg. I get his daily devotions, and they're very good. And I like to watch his services on TV. He's Billy Graham's personal pastor, and that's a wonderful ministry. There's so many. It's hard to just look at them all. I do like, as far as books go, Jesus Calling and Jesus Today and is Sarah Young. Those are great devotions. And that Jesus Calling is every day. I went through that like 3 or 4 years in a row because every day just spoke to me. And it was new, even though I'd been through it a few times. It was just like Jesus is speaking to me right now. And and there's so many more. There's so many more. I'd have to sit down and write a list of them.
Well, and then you have your favorite periodicals, you have your favorite magazines, your favorite book, and don't read it just once. You need to keep going at it over and over again.
Yes.
I know with the book of Proverbs, Phil and I have a study, and it's for every day. Okay, it's a proverb, and every time we go through each chapter, I find something different every single time I go through it. So it's like my mind will just connect with a particular verse, and it's important to just keep doing it.
That is so true. I may have read a chapter or a verse 100 times, and for what I'm going through at a particular time, it's like the Lord will just direct me to it. And all of a sudden, it's like that verse jumps off the page, and it's got a whole new meaning for what I'm going through right at that time.
Right. Again, it's just what, you let go through there was a song that we used to sing when we were little kids, like at Bible school or Sunday school. And it was, be careful, little children, what you hear, be careful, little children, what you see, because those are things that really get in your mind. It can mess you up for the day. And again, I think that's what the enemy uses that for a tool.
Yeah, he really does. And that's why, just concentrating, memorizing scripture. I know as we get older, that becomes more challenging. But the things that I memorized when I was younger, still, they're there today, and I call on them and I think, no, I need to really focus on this. The one that out of Isaiah that I said before, boy, if you get into a bad situation, it's right there with you. And I've been able to minister to people with those things that I've learned and that I've memorized or known where this is in the word, and say, hey, there's something that can help you right now, and there's so many hurting people. I have a real heart to pray for and minister to them.
Now, we're out in public places. It's not so bad here, but in some areas, it's almost you're looked down on if you try to help somebody with the scripture. How do you know when to talk to somebody?
And that's a challenging thing, working in a public workplace where I work, and I have a boss, and I'm pretty vocal about my faith with everybody, and it's just who I am. And some people, I really believe the Holy Spirit leads you and leads me to say, all right, this person, we'll get to talk about their design, but then something personal will come up. And I've had times where I've said to people, can I pray for you? And they, oh, yes. And other times I've just known to pray for them silently, and just, after they leave, I lift them up in prayer and I say, okay, Lord, that person has a need. But I think it's really something that you have to sense within you, because there are people who are very offended, and I've had very few of those. One I can think of in particular that I just simply said, oh, I will pray for you. And that offended her. And she called my boss and told him, but that happens so seldom. And, I think she's really the only one that ever has done that or had a problem with it, because I'm very careful about it. But I think as Christians, who we are, the light of God is in us, and it comes out. It emanates His joy. The joy of the Lord is my strength. And when you're living that, it comes across, and it draws people to Him in you.
I think so too. And also when someone needs help, I think they open the door when it's the right time.
Exactly.
You just have to walk in.
Right. They do. Yeah.
Well, Susie Stover's with me right now, and she's a home designer with Ethan Allen. We have about 3 minutes left in this segment. What would you like to tell the folks before you go, Susie?
I would like to say, have a blessed and happy spring. Enjoy the time of year that we're in. I'd like for people to really think about where they live and their home and who they are. What we talked about today is who are they? Who am I individually? What makes me happy? Take a look at your home and say, this, I really like the way this room looks. I walk into it and I feel good, or I don't. What can I do to change it and make me feel better? Can I bring in some color that really makes me happy, or just change some things around? Just little simple things like that. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do that. Flowers are great. I love flowers, and they make me happy. So I like to have flowers around, outside and in. And, it depends. Everybody's a little different. So be aware of who you are and what ministers to you, what makes you happy, what brings you joy. And that way you can help bring joy to others, because when you're up, it's contagious. When you walk in and you're smiling and you're full of joy, it just kind of is a ripple effect to those around you.
And I think you're like a magnet. People want to be around you.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That is.
That's what it's all about. Susie, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's always so much fun.
It's been a delight. Thank you so very much. I appreciate being able to be here.
Absolutely. Tell Jim Donna said hello.
I will tell him. Thank you, honey. Bye-bye now. God bless you.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and get ready for a commercial break. You're going to hear from our great, great sponsors. Coming up just a few minutes, we're going to be talking with singer Melissa Evans. And then after that, we'll be talking with Dean Odle. He is an Alabama governor candidate. Looking forward to seeing him as well. So you guys take care. We'll see you shortly.
About that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You've said your prayers, now take a stand, get up on your knees. You've told me about that mountain, now tell that mountain about me. Don't tell me about that mountain.
Geraldine, Alabama. We are your source for news and entertainment. Again, thank you so much for watching us every day, Monday through Friday. Been out with COVID, but I'm okay now. Boy, I'm telling you what, I am raring and ready to talk to Doug McGee, and he's with Second Chance Animal Shelter. Hey, Doug, how are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Can you see me?
I can see you, and now there's two cuteness overloads. You're cute too, Doug. Right? What, this is a cute little puppy right here. Who is this?
And I don't know who this is or anything about him, but Teresa just handed him to me. He's been running around in the office. But I know he has awesome breath. His puppy breath is strong. So he must not be very old.
Uh-huh.
But he's been running like crazy around the office.
Well,
I don't know who he is.
well, I'm gonna tell you what. He is lovely. He is beautiful. Look at those little ears. How cute they are.
Oh yeah, his little ears fold over, kind of like. Well, let me get him back in. There we go.
And what's his name? Have you named him yet?
Well, they didn't say. Teresa's not in here, so I don't know what his name is.
Well, he looks healthy. He looks He looks very healthy.
Oh, he is. He's been running. He's probably tired now. He's been running around here just. But hey, little boy, it's a boy. I know that much about him. That's about all I know.
Well, he is just adorable. So, how have things been at Second Chance?
It has been wide open. I mean, it's just crazy. You know, every year we think it just gets busier and busier and busier, and not bad things. It's just everything is 100 miles an hour. It's just really, really crazy. I guess it's because it's puppy season. We've had so many people call with puppies. It's just every day, and it's just busy. We've been. Well, I can't find Wanda anymore. She's just running out faster than anything. This little thing's just a little love bug right here.
He's got the cutest paws.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of dog do you think he is?
I really don't know. I mean, with those ears, that's it. But I really, what kind of dog are you?
Mm-hmm. His ears kind of make me think of the RCA dog. You know, the RCA dog with his ears were like that.
I do remember. Yeah, maybe that was probably some kind of a rat terrier or something. But I don't know. Whatever. He's a cute. I'm a cutie.
It doesn't matter. He's as adorable.
I'm an Alabama cutie. That's about that my breed.
Absolutely.
And he is precious. So, and he's calmed down a lot since I've been holding him. You know, we have been. You ask how things are going. It's just. I can't figure out how it's been more busy. We're getting ready. Me and Wanda are leaving Friday night to go to, or Friday morning to go to Wisconsin with a load of dogs. And we've got dogs in, dogs out, and it's crazy. But it's a good crazy. We've got volunteers, and we're getting so much done. It's like, my goodness.
I'm so glad to hear about the volunteers, and let's talk about that just for a few minutes, because I'd actually thought about becoming a veterinarian when I was younger. This would have been the perfect opportunity to get your feet wet and see if there's something that you'd like to do.
I'm going to set him down so I can concentrate a little bit. I'll pick you back up in a minute. Yeah, volunteering is our newsletter this month. That's kind of the theme behind it. And we need volunteers. I mean, COVID wiped out a lot of our, it stopped a lot of volunteering for whatever reason. So we got to rebuild that because we were very dependent on people, unpaid people doing a lot of the work around here. I'd love to pay everybody to do everything, but, you know, funds are something else. This weekend, we got volunteers cleaning up some scrap metal. A lot of our kennels had to be replaced, and a lot of them were just not in good shape. So we're going to scrap them out. So we've got a group of volunteers that's going to come and take care of that. We got other group of volunteers that's moving some gravel. We got volunteers, of course, come out and take care of the dogs. We need your help. We really do. And if you want to volunteer, if you'll just show up, we'll put you to work. You know, if you don't like dogs even, which I can't imagine anybody coming out here who doesn't like dogs, but if you did and just wanted to help and got skills, we'll put you to work. It doesn't have to be 100% dealing with dogs. It can be any one of 1,000 things. The opportunity that's coming today, somebody delivered to us a whole bunch of fabric, like rolls of fabric. Mm-hmm. And we use doggy blankets all the time. We use blankets all the time for dogs. And we want to start giving out blankets for when somebody adopts a dog, they have a blanket. And the reason being, years ago, when hunters would lose their dogs, the way they said they hadn't brought them back was to put a piece of their clothing out, and the dogs would migrate back to that clothing. That's how they found lost dogs. So we want to send a blanket with every dog when they get adopted. So if something happens in the dog, you need kind of a comfort blanket. Or if it does get loose, maybe that dog will come back to something that's familiar smells. But we want to turn those bolts of fabric into blankets. So seamstresses. Is there anybody out there who likes to sew?
Yeah.
Who is in all really a serger? You would need a serger, so you go around the edge and just make a 4x8 piece of blanket. A blanket, so that, or not 4x8, 4x4. That we can, when a dog is adopted, they got a blanket. So it's kind of like remember Linus on Snoopy? It's kind of like I call it the Linus Project, but it's kind of like that. So when the dog leaves here, he's going into a strange environment. He's got some kind of sense of he can smell the smell and all of the shelter, and maybe that'll make him the transition be a little easier. And he'll have a blanket with him to carry with. You know, you can carry the blanket, and he'll always have something that's his. So volunteer people that can sew and serge and can take blankets, because people donate blankets all the time, but they're bed size, and we don't need a king size blanket. We need a lot of 4x4 size blankets.
Well,
So
animals, aren't they a lot like people anyway? They need something familiar. So this
absolutely.
would be something that would calm their spirits down just a little bit.
Yeah, and like I said, when we ship them to Wisconsin, every dog that goes to Wisconsin would have his own blanket. So when he gets there, he's got something. I think it'll really help to keep them calm, and because it'll feel like home. More than just taking up here and completely everything's strange. At least they'll kind of get the same, just like Linus and his little security blanket. Same idea, anyways. So
Now,
if you're listening,
when you go to Wisconsin, what's that all about? Do you have people ready to take the animals right then?
we do. We have, and they're all volunteers. Once again, you talk about the importance of volunteers. We've got a group of people, we call them Second Chance North, and they all live in Wisconsin. And they take dogs in and foster them at their houses. And then the group's getting bigger. So we deliver them. They all meet us in our van. They take the dogs into their homes, and then they have adoption events. In fact, me and Wanda Saturday are going to go to an adoption event in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We're going to go to the event. People kind of want to meet us, and so we'll be there to meet the people and just be part of an adoption event in Oshkosh. But all the dogs, of course, will come from here, and the fosters will meet us at the pet store that we're going to have it at, and find them homes. And then next month we'll do the same thing. We may not go all the way up next month, but every month now we take a load of dogs to Wisconsin, and they go into foster homes and they get adopted. And it's beautiful. It works very well. I mean, it's for considering it's all volunteers. That's what even makes it better. It's just a good way of doing things. And if you're listening from worldwide, if you're listening somewhere in the United States of America, and I'm sure there's people that are, and you want to start a foster program in your city or town, and you got a need, call us. Call us wherever. I wouldn't say Alabama, but I'd like to expand that. I would like to have networks of fosters everywhere where there's a shortage of dogs. And right now in Wisconsin, there seems to be a need for dogs, not necessarily a shortage, but a need. So why not provide their need from dogs from here? Because we got too many.
Well, and I wanted to mention another thing, because I know that there are a lot of expenses involved when you guys have to take trips like that. I mean, it costs some money to make this thing happen. And so I'm just glad of all the volunteers and folks that are out there willing to help you make it happen on this end. But what can folks do monetarily to help you guys out?
What can they do? What now?
Yeah, what can folks do? How can they donate to help you guys?
You can go to our Facebook page. It's probably best. There's a donate button or a donate link on our Facebook page. A lady yesterday from Fort Payne brought 60 bags of dog food. It was her 60th birthday. So on her 60th birthday, she said she wanted to donate 1 bag of dog food for every bag for every year of her life. And that was cool to see her pull up. We had 60 bags of dog food. Our biggest thing, dog food's always a primary need, but if you want to help us financially, you can always mail us a check, go to our Facebook page, you can go follow that link to donate. You can call the office, and Teresa can take credit card information over the phone. You can just call us. Once again, call us, anybody. I'm not saying Alabama, anybody, call us, and we will figure out a way, because we absolutely need funding. Because just like you said, the trips to Wisconsin, I'm a numbers person, so every time I see gas prices, I cringe. Because I remember, that trip, it's a 1,800-mile round trip in a van that gets not great gas mileage. So, I mean, of course, I'm trying not to panic over it, because I know here it's $1 more in Illinois than it is here, but I'm already calculating the cost and all, and it's just the way it goes. So, yeah, we need funds, and I'm just trying to say that's just the reality of it. And that trip to Wisconsin doubled in price from 2 years ago because of gas prices. So, and but it's life. It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get gas. I don't want to run out of gas on the way up there.
Go there, smile and go through it. I'm telling you.
That's it. And things are going on that end. Things are going. They're so hectic and crazy, but they're still. It's a positive.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to handle so much more, but it's so crazy right now. It's just wide open. You don't move that there's something else going on. Like we're living in a positive tornado, if there's any way to describe it that
If there's
way.
such a thing as that. I love the second chance barker. I love this every time this comes in. I'm always looking at it. Cute puppies and dogs and everything on it. But I saw 103 noses in, 116 noses out in December. That's pretty good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not a bad month. Anytime we
Anytime
have more out than in. Now in January it flipped over. January was more in than out. So the goal is even is okay, but we definitely prefer more out than in.
Yeah.
Because it's just, we would love to get our numbers down. Right now we have 247 dogs, I think, on the property, but we had 14 dropped off puppies at the end of the road. On the same day somebody dropped off an adult dog, so there's 15. And then one day, a few days ago, somebody dropped off 8 puppies in a box behind of our van. Come down to work, there's 8 puppies. So when you're getting inconsiderate people dropping off 10, 15 a week, it keeps us overflowed. We can't, get our feet on the ground, and that's tough. So please, if you'll call us, we'll try to work with you if we can, but you got to understand dropping them off is not a good answer for anybody. And I know some people feel like, well, at least they dropped them off at a shelter. But if you keep us overwhelmed, we can't, it's just very difficult. When we come down here and there's we don't know they're coming, a surprise box of puppies, it kind of kicks us on our heels for the day, puts us back. We're trying to regroup, and it makes it difficult.
Well, let's talk about the process. What happens? And maybe folks are just not educated. So let's talk with folks. What happens when you guys come in one morning and there's a box full of puppies? What do you do?
Okay, can I be honest? I know this is okay.
We need to be plain about this. Maybe people don't know.
Let's just. We try not to be there's sometimes language goes south, okay? And I'm trying to be nice. We try our best to keep our cool, but when the first thing we do is we gather them up. Sometimes they're in a box, sometimes they're not. They're running around. So we try to get them together. Mm-hmm. And we take them in and give them all. They don't get on the property until they've had a parvo shot and their vaccinations. That's very important. Years in the past, we've had parvo outbreaks. We don't have those anymore. I think we do an excellent job of vaccinating them, and that's the key to keeping parvo and things like that from being rampant. Then they get here, and of course, everybody says, "Where do we put them? Where do we put them?" And we start trying to figure out where we put them. If it's a litter of puppies that aren't weaned, and that happens pretty regularly, they're too young to be away from mom. But we just got to deal with them. We reach out to foster groups. Other shelters have foster people. There's a lot of network for those kinds of puppies. And we'll instantly try to get them to them. We try to get them to where they can get that bottle fed. We had, I think it was 9, not too long ago, and the mother got ran over, and they were brought to us. The mother, like 2 days after they were born, they had no milk supply. So we have to get them. Those are, they'll start dropping quick if we don't get them some help. So we reach out across everywhere to try to find somebody that'll take them. And if not, the other ones, they go over here in our office, and we get them all logged in and take it from there. Hang on. There, my phone, I had to get rid of that. But we just get them, and then we start working on getting them adopted. Normally we send puppies up north. A lot of our puppies end up going to Wisconsin, and the reason being their laws requiring people to spay and neuter, and we're a lot stricter than here. If we adopt a puppy here, we got to make sure that person is competent enough to get it fixed. If they don't, it just doesn't help anything. We've ran into that. People get a puppy from us, and 9 months later they're saying, "Hey, that dog I got from you got pregnant before you get her fixed." So that doesn't help. Up north, their laws require them to get them fixed, so they do. Mm-hmm. It's a mess, I'm telling you that. We try to keep a cool head, but it doesn't always work.
Well, I think you guys are doing an awesome job. And so folks, really think about this, okay? Be really serious about it.
Yeah.
We're about to open the door now where people are wanting to adopt more than they were in the winter months.
Do one more time. I'm sorry. There was a glitch.
No, that's okay. So are we beginning to be at the time of the year where people are wanting to adopt?
They are. We've got a lot of people looking, and that's great. All I ask you, if you consider this, open your mind to the idea, at least, of getting. If you want a small dog, open your mind to getting a medium-sized dog. If you want a medium dog, open your mind to getting a bigger dog. Our log jam here is big dogs, and most people know that because 9 out of 10 people that walk in the gate want a small dog. And I'm sure it's lifestyles, whatever, but I look out here and I see our small dog turnaround is quick. We have a waiting list actually for people. If small dogs come in, we have a waiting list of people to take them. But big dogs, it's just not so great. Thank goodness in Wisconsin they do take a lot of bigger dogs. There's a lot of farm country, so but still it's just too slow. These big dogs, you've got to feel sorry for them. They need to be home.
I've got a large dog, and I love my dog. Buddy is with us. He's part of our family. He's part German Shepherd, and I mean he's just a big old boy. And you can't be more lovable than him. I got to go outside. I've had COVID, so I got to go outside. And just for a few minutes, Phil said, I think you'll be okay. You need some fresh air. So went outside. Well, he's just like a big old baby. And he's up there in my lap. Almost broke my legs. But anyway, he's just a big old cuddly baby. Big dogs.
Big dogs. I just think that, I don't know what it is, but, people are attracted to little dogs. That's just what they want. And which is great for the little dog, but leaves these big dogs that we've got out here just kind of in limbo. There's nowhere, nobody wants them. So, and I find that heartbreaking. I don't know how to solve that problem. I don't know how to make people want big dogs. I really don't. But if I could figure it out, because I look at it as a white dog. I don't even know his name, but I look at him every day through the door. And it looks like he just wants to go somewhere, but he's over there in his kennel. And
he will love you. A big old dog is going to just love you more than you'll ever know. I'm going to tell you, they are very loyal. They're very loyal. Are.
We've got ones at the house. Our dog Chloe, she's 80, 85 pounds, and she's a great, great dog. And she's inside. A big dog can, people weigh 200-300 pounds. 80-pound dog can live in the house too. You don't have to be outside just because it weighs 80 pounds. If that was a rule, I'd be outside.
No, we have less than 2 minutes left in this segment. What would you like to tell the folks before we go today?
We need your help on adopting. Number one, please adopt a dog. If you want a dog, go to any shelter, hopefully ours. But if you can't make it ours, at least go to a shelter and try to get a dog. We need your support. Keep that in mind in every way. If you're for volunteering support to financial support, we've got to make things happen. We love volunteers, and this is our big effort this month to promote volunteerism. So just show up. If you can't say, hey, I'm just going to go there, all you got to do is walk in the gate and say, I want to volunteer. If you can do that, we can help you, guide you the rest of the way, because we definitely need the help, and we need to rebuild our volunteer resources, because COVID I didn't think it had that kind of effect, but it pretty much stopped a lot of volunteering. We have a man who came today. He actually came from Panama. He was in military, but been in Panama, and he's going to rebuild some racks for us, and it's all volunteer.
Awesome.
So, he's doing something that we don't have to pay somebody else to do. It really does help. Volunteer, please. We need your help.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you for being on the show. Make sure you tell Wanda I said hello, and y'all have a good trip tomorrow.
I will try to. Well, I may not see her again until we get ready to pull out. That's how fast she moves. One is quick. One is just like, I can't even say, where's she at? And she'd be right beside her.
A whirlwind goes by.
She got superpowers. I said, where'd she go? She don't stop.
Thank you, Doug. And you guys take care and have a safe trip.
You too, and have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, this is the end of Afternoon Drive Home today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. It's going to be another awesome, super awesome show. So y'all take care, okay? And thank you for watching Afternoon Drive Home. I love being your host.